And there are so many of them. These things you call cult will come to an end. Because sometimes I think some of these clubs by these young children are meant to, show that
give
they
them some
power,
ego and that they have some
and all
power.
that. But if they could be harnessed positively by putting them into this upcoming state policing or community policing and well trained, I can tell you that they will help a lot. Every community knows the bad eggs. Every community, even some of the villages are afraid to speak out. Some of the emirs and some of the chiefs in various places in some emirates are afraid to speak out because they will come after you. And before you call the police, the nearest police station, before they get there, the harm would have been done. And so that's the reason why, if you notice what has happened in the country so far, it has always been reactive, not proactive. Policing had not been proactive in the country. But when you set up this system I'm talking about, there will be proactive policing. And that will help the country instead of reactive policing. Reactive policing is like a community would have been wiped out, over 100 people would have been killed, and then the police will now arrive.
To come
and even the police that are coming will be afraid to approach the scene immediately because they don't know who is who. You understand? It's almost like a guerrilla war where the opponent knows you because you're a police officer, but you don't know the opponent.
Because
so you have
to any member of the audience.
You have to approach it with caution. So I think standardization is important, and then we need to regulate it in a way that it will be well used. And where, just like the Constitution today, where a law is met by the National Assembly, and any provision of that law is also replicated in the state by the State House of Assembly.
Right.
If that provision is in conflict with what was done at national, the one at national
supersedes, yes.
So we should also do it in such a way that we guide it that where there is a crime to be investigated by the state police within their domain, and then it has national security implications, and it is taken over by federal police, automatically the state police must drop, that file.
Let me take you in another direction, Your Excellency. When you moved, I'm fairly certain that you probably would have heard this. When you moved, there was a lot of conversation about why.
Yes.
Why did Senator Godswill Akpabio move? And one of the interesting things that came out was that you finally succumbed to blackmail. That you had been threatened that they would send all manners of security agents after you to investigate, and that would put a pause to your political career if you didn't join. Did you hear this?
Well, I'll tell you, I was amused when I heard that story, and I had a few people write petitions against me. I ran a government, and I was commissioner for 6 years, and I was a governor for 8 years. And I wasn't just a governor, I was, in quote, according to my people, an uncommon governor that brought about uncommon changes and uncommon infrastructure. And so they call me uncommon transformer. So there's no way you can run a government without people writing petitions against you or whatever. But the reality is that, are those petitions true? And some of the petitions are politically motivated. So when some people wrote petitions against me, they were investigated as far back as 2015 and all that. So why didn't I move then? By 2016, it was clear that there was no merit in those petitions. Otherwise, I would have been charged to court. A lot of people, those even who partook in the so-called campaign fund slush that you heard about all over the country, many of them were charged to court. But I wasn't charged to court because I did not take part in collecting those funds. And it's not because I wouldn't have loved to. I wasn't happy that I wasn't given.
Okay.
So, because they were campaign funds. So I was also campaigning. So I'm still wondering why I wasn't given.
You weren't given.
And then, of course, it would look like it probably came to my state, but it never got to me. So it's not as if they brought it, I wouldn't have collected it, because I was also a politician.
Maybe with the benefit of hindsight, you are happy. You should be happy that you didn't collect.
No, I'm not happy. I should have been given a sizable portion of it. I was chairman of the ruling party's governors forum.
Right.
And so I should even have been the one sharing. You understand? So, but since I wasn't the one sharing, and so I wasn't invited, so if a man like that was not involved in even the campaign funds you are talking about, unfortunately, so many of my compatriots have been charged to court. And then the petitions that were written against me to the EFCC had also been seriously, I've been the most investigated Nigerian, and I'm still on my feet. How can you say that in 2018, if somebody will now come and put a gun on your head and say, oh, if you don't change your political party, I will charge you to God, I will do this, I will do that. That is totally false. Absolutely incorrect. I've never seen it. It's just the height of blackmail and character assassination. It's a smear campaign. People cannot get over the fact that I have moved. Even me, I can't get over the fact that I have moved. I'm as surprised as they are. I am just telling you that it was based on national instinct.
And you said it was sudden. You mentioned that it was sudden.
Yes, it's not as if I didn't even have an opportunity to call a meeting of my colleagues, the senators of the PDP extraction in the Senate, who gave me the opportunity to be their Senate minority leader. And I'm still hoping that in future they will avail me the opportunity to call them. I apologize to them for the fact that I did not inform them before time, but I can't apologize for moving because I moved to stem the tide. And if you notice, the APC national chairman and the national leadership described my movement as uncommon defection. And of course, you can't take it. You can't joke with that movement. You know why? Because it has stemmed the tide of movements.
Well, yes. Since you moved at the National Assembly, there has been no movement.
No, there will be no movement. Any movement will now be towards me. Any movement will be towards the APC.
Why do you think so?
That's what is happening.
And why do you think so?
It's not we thinking so. That's what is happening now.
No, well, there's a law, but that doesn't mean nothing is still going to happen.
That is what is happening. That's what is going to happen.
Because my guest in this chair last week said, my guest in this chair last week said, we hadn't seen anything yet. There will still be more movement.
That's what I'm saying, but it will be towards me.
No, he said it will actually be out of both the APC and the PDP.
I don't know much about out of the APC, but I know that any movement from the PDP now will be towards me, the APC. But not much movement will move from the APC to the PDP. You should know that.
No, I don't know, Your Excellencies. You will tell me.
Well, you see, people know that I'm a very serious-minded politician. And without being boastful, I need to let you know that people know that I must have felt very concerned about what was going on. And that there was need. People are now buying the argument. There is need for us to ensure that Nigeria survives before election. And there is need for us to vote in a federal government and support that federal government to succeed for the benefit of our children. Even as a minority leader, my views were all bipartisan. And most of the time, I pointed out that there was need for us not to take actions in the legislature or to take actions in the National Assembly that will be against national interests. Because let me be honest with you. If you bring in a government and then you work towards bringing down that government, how are you helping the future? I have children. My son is 9 years old. I would like to bequeath Nigeria to my son. Some of our actions are capable of breaking this country into pieces, and we become Somalia. You don't seem to understand what I'm saying.
I do.
And then
I
people
understand.
read meanings into a lot of things that are going on in Nigeria, on religious lines, on this. But then, I was a governor in 2012 when we lost over 500 people to these herdsmen and what do you call it? Herdsmen and
farmers
clashes. At that time, the president of Nigeria was a Christian. I did not hear where they said, oh, the president was killing fellow Christians. So without holding brief for the federal government or the action or inaction of the security agencies, I need to let you know that when we see a problem, we should stop reading meanings, either religious meanings or ethnic meanings or tribal meanings into the situation. We should make sure that we describe criminality as criminality. And then we should tackle criminality for what it is, criminality.
Your Excellency, those listening to you now will find it difficult to either follow through on the logic that you've put up. Because not too long ago, you yourself were quoted as inciting the polity, heating up the polity, with your Warsaw, Hitler, Poland comments. No. I mean, people will ask the question, are you who is trying to stabilize the polity, are now promising the people war in Akwa Ibom.
I must tell you something.
That's been in all the media in the last couple of...
What I have passion for is actually comedy. I intend to be a comedian when I retire from politics. I want to be a comedian. So I have a great passion for comedy. But this is actually what happened. The Director General of the campaigns for Akpabio said, he's been so named, he was also Director General in my time, informed the sitting governor of my state that there was need for them to prepare for war. That 2019 was going to be war.
This was after you defected?
No, shortly after.
After you defected?
No, not before I defected. This was on the 5th of August in a stakeholders meeting.
Okay.
He said that there was need for them to prepare for war. And he said, Your Excellency, you must recruit your army now because 2019 is going to be war. And it is going to be the survival of the fittest. And then he also added, and it will be a winner takes it all. In other words, by the time they are through with the war, I don't believe that he was calling for real war. I believe
he was political, just talking about politics.
Yeah, I believe he was trying to describe the political war situation, or election. It was taking election like war. And that at the end, that it was going to be a winner takes it all. And then it will be survival of the fittest. So when some stakeholders of the APC, after my defection, came to me, and in the course of the meeting, they mentioned that, Your Excellency, we are likely going to face a war situation. Yeah. We are likely going to face a war situation because the incumbent governor, the incumbent PDP government in the state, is already planning for war. Is calling for war, sounding the drum beats of war. And I told them, no, don't be bothered. That if they are calling for war, that it's not election. That kind of situation is not going to be a tea party. And that in a joking manner, I used a dramatic expression. I said that when Germany attacked Poland, and the capital of Poland is Warsaw,
right.